this is the image that flashed through your brain when you read the title of this, or my presentation. And, or if you're a serious gamer, maybe it was Call of Duty. And why not? We spend 300 million minutes a day playing Angry Birds, right? That's a day. And it's only fairly recently that the term gamification has come into the modern lexicon. If you're out there right now trying to post or tweet something, this is probably the error message you got. It doesn't even recognize the term gamification. The term is so new that if it wasn't even on Google Trends until the end of 2010, the blue line up here is gamification. The red line is serious games, or defined as simulations or those games used in training or education. So, what is gamification? Put simply, it's the application of game mechanics, items typically considered when you're thinking of playing video games as points, badges, leaderboards, the application of those into non-game settings. Fair enough? And we've all been exposed to the proliferation of gamification recently. Anyone who's been in a car, you probably recognize these dashboards, right? You've seen the application of game mechanics to dashboards. They almost look like video games. Or this is a Nike Fuel Band console, right? It's the merging of gamification and social media. If you've been any marketing program, say, think of your frequent flyer programs, right? That's gamification. That's been around for decades. But what else is driving the recent interest in gamification? There was a 2012 Gallup poll that said over 70% of employees are disengaged at work. They show up, they're not motivated, they don't understand the goals of the organization, they don't feel challenged. It's not that they don't want to be challenged or engaged or feel good about what they're doing, they're just spending all those hours into another venue. They're spending millions of hours a week playing games, 7 billion hours a week playing games. But what if we were able to harness all the hours that people play, that they spend playing games, and harness those into something more productive? We all have heard of Wikipedia, right? There's been research that estimates that it took 100 million hours to build all the code and all the content behind Wikipedia. That's 3 weeks of Angry Birds, or 1 week of Call of Duty playing time. What if we were able to harness all that engagement and apply it towards something more practical? What if all the time spent slinging birds was focused on conquering some of the big issues of our time? Now, many of you have seen these photographs, right? The woman before, she was thoroughly engaged, right? But she was really working. She was working really hard. This guy, what is he up to? Yeah, you probably, who knows, right? This guy, he is super serious, right? He is super intense. Our job as gamification practitioners, if I sort of strike the fancy with you, is to move people from passive fans, or passive players into active fans into our organizations, right? This guy, I'm not really sure what's going on here. Looks like he's on the verge of an epic win, right? But we shouldn't assume that the engagement economy or gamification is the purview of the typical gamer, that stereotypical image that flashes in your brain, right, when you hear gamification or gamer. So to prove the point, the next slide has a bunch of statistics on it, but focus on the last few on there, right? Think of real soldiers in a real army fighting real wars. How do they relax? Most of them relax by playing virtual wars in virtual armies, right? They play Call of Duty, World of Warcraft. And why? Why do they do that? Because they have much like employees in many organizations, they get a sense of empowerment. They feel challenged. They can fail without dire consequences. So let me try and wrap this up. This is what most people think gamification people do. My friends think I do. Startups think I do that. But the one over in the lower right-hand corner is what gamification practitioners try and do. It's a scene from Mary Poppins. I may be dating myself here. But she sums up her job as, in every job that must be done, there is an element of fun. To put it a little more graphically, what we try and do is balance challenge and skill levels so that players, or in this case, employees and organizations, are in that flow channel. If I haven't sold you yet, this is the final slide, right? This is a slide, a screenshot from Foldit, which is an application that scientists have put together to solve a protein sequencing problem. They've been working at this for 15 years, so they decided to apply game mechanics to the problem. What they failed to do in 15 years, 46,000 gamers solved in 10 days. So that's my school. Thank you.